Good morning, gardening friends. Welcome to my farm stand in Flagstaff, Arizona. I'm Julie McDonald, and it's June 3rd today, and I am still in a jacket because it's so chilly. But today I want to tell you and share with you about one of my very favorite plants, and that is the geranium. This is just the common zonal geranium, but you may or may not know that geraniums can live for decades. So this is one that I grew from, it's a cutting, from my oldest geranium, which is 35 years old. And I have had that, for half my life. So just a really wonderful plant. So many things about it that I like. It blooms all winter long. If it's in a sunny window, for instance, if it is facing south or east, it will bloom, even west, if it gets enough sun. And so I call them sunny windowsill friends because they just make you so happy in the winter. It can also come outside in the summertime. It can live all year in the house, but I like to bring them out, and I have about 14 of them, which I put up by my front door, and by about July, when they come out in June, by July, they make the most beautiful display of flowers. Shades of reds and all kinds of pinks. This one is a beautiful coral color and just a great big head of flowers on it, and it's just lovely. So they're a wonderful plant, and so I'm going to tell you how to care for them. They don't need any kind of pesticide or anything like that because they don't draw bugs. So that's another good thing, especially for a houseplant. You're not going to get anything bothering them. You see this one is in a plastic pot, and I like this size of pot. This is what they do well in. I would rather have more geraniums in smaller pots than have a few geraniums in bigger pots. One, they're hard to move if you want to move them around, and two, they really like kind of the smaller pots, so I wouldn't go much larger than this. You see here, and also I have this in plastic. I know a lot of people like terracotta, but terracotta does not work well in this area. It's too dry, and people in other areas want to dry out their plant. They don't want it to get too wet. In Flagstaff, we're trying to hold in the moisture, so that's why I like plastic better than terracotta. Plus in Flagstaff, the pots will usually break during the winter with our extreme temperatures. And then you notice I have it in a saucer here. I like a saucer that's at least about 1 inch deep, not a real shallow one. I give it a good watering about once a week when it's in the house. I let the water fill up near to the top of the saucer and then dry out. I don't water it again until I see that the saucer is dry or almost dry. There's another kind of pot. People like these pots. This is also good for a geranium. It's a little bit smaller. It has the lip and kind of the automatic watering under here. The thing I don't like about this pot is you have to touch it to see if it needs water, rather than just seeing it with your eye. And so sometimes these get very dry because I have not taken the time to reach in there. So it's the only thing I don't care about for that one, but this is another option for a pot. I fertilize them with Miracle-Gro, but not often, once or twice a year. They don't need much, but that will increase their growth. And they'll will bloom better with that and be brighter and greener. Another important thing about a geranium is you want to keep it well groomed. So what will happen, if you can see this one is getting leggy, if let go, this geranium is just going to take off this way, and then it's going to become very unattractive. It'll be a stem with a little puff of leaves at the end, and the geranium's not happy, and they really become quite ugly, for lack of a better word. So what I do, and you can do this at absolutely any time, is I trim them back. And you just cut anywhere along the stem. You won't hurt the geranium at all, don't worry about it. This is not going to root, so I'm going to discard it. I'm going to come on this side. Here's another one that is getting leggy. I'm going to cut that one as well. You don't have to put a lot of thought into it, just kind of cut away. And then now I'm going to show you, because this lends itself well to a video of how to propagate a geranium. And people are always at the farm stand always asking me how to do that. And so what you need is, like I said, those won't grow. That's just green growth. you have to get a woody section. So I'm going to have to go way down here, and you'll just have to see it after I cut it. And you always want to use really good pruning shears. That's important for the gardener, and that's a place where you want to be willing to spend some money, because bad gardening shears will cut your plants ragged and can really damage them, and bouquets won't last as long. So this is a good investment. Got this guy pulled out here. So this is, I'm going to show you now. Here is the geranium cutting. And where it's going to root is, you can see that there's a V here, or this is more like a U, but where you've got this branching going out, you can see that it's a woody stem. These little nodules right here are where the root is going to form. So this is what you want to be planted. So I'm going to take all these leaves off. This will help it to concentrate on forming roots and not trying to support these leaves. So I just cut these off, no reason to have them. Now sometimes I'll leave 1 or 2 leaves on there, but usually I just take them all off. And then this is a dead stem, so I'm going to trim that off. Now, it could even root from here, but what you want to make sure that you do is that you have this under the soil. So I have a pot here ready to go. This is just a little, and this is the size pot I like to use for a new propagated cutting. I don't put them in water generally, put them directly in the soil. Super easy to do. You're just going to take it, you're going to push it down until that V or U, or whatever you want to call it, is below the surface of the dirt. And sometimes I have to come in and add a little more dirt, because that's where it's going to root. It needs to be below. So you can just add a little soil on top, and it's ready to go. This is one that is about, I think that's about 3 months old, and so it wasn't quite ready to sell at the farm stand, so that's why it's still here. Just getting a little more growth on it. But this will just soon start growing. You'll start seeing leaves coming up. And where you want to put these is somewhere where you can keep it nice and moist. And I usually put them in a tray and just give them good watering. And then I'll put them in a sunny window or someplace where they're going to get warm. You don't want these to dry out at all, since they are getting all their nutrition from the wet soil. So that one is ready to go. And then let me show you this. So this one I put in just for display. This was in water, and you can see the little roots already coming out. And this one is probably just about 10 days old. So it sat in water for just a few days and then immediately began to send out roots. That's another way to do this. You can see the new leaves starting to grow here along the sides. Put this back in. And then there's another way you can plant geraniums too, and that's from seed. Now, not all geraniums will go to seed. Some are hybrids and they just form a beautiful flower, and but they will not produce seed. This one is called Maverick Star. It's absolutely beautiful. It's white with a pink center and a pink picotee edge. And I actually got those seeds from Hera Seeds. So you can look them up on the internet. You can buy seeds from there. And probably other places too. You can find geranium seeds. People don't realize they can grow from seed. So this is the Maverick Star, and I just, as it was going to seed after the flowers had bloomed, I just cut the stems off. You can see how God designed seeds with these little kind of parachutes. And so they just can kind of take to the wind, and then geraniums in other places that are warmer, like California, will just sprout up everywhere. They won't do that here, of course, because they're going to freeze during the winter. But that's how they get around. So what I'm going to do is I have a tray, and this is what I like to plant geraniums in. It's just a saucer. And they're not going to stay here very long. So I'm just going to scatter the seeds like this. Don't pay a lot of attention, not putting them in the ground, just kind of are in the soil. Just putting them around like that. And then I'm going to just top that off with a little bit more soil. Press them down. First I'm going to press them, then I'm going to top them just to cover them. Also keeping them very warm. They don't have to be in the sun, but they need to be warm, and they're slow to germinate. It takes sometimes 2 weeks for them to start popping up. You'll see them. Then I take a little teaspoon and I just pop them out of the ground, put them in a pot like this. They're going to take a little bit longer than a cutting, maybe 24 weeks before they're ready to where they're blooming. So, but this is just another great way, and lots of fun for kids to do it this way, to see the whole plant grow from seed. And just a really fun thing to do. So I hope you think of geraniums in a little bit different than maybe just putting them out for an annual. And when mine are out in the summer, I like to group them, all 14 of them, and just make a huge bank by using these varying sizes of stands. Some are on the ground, some are on stands, and it's very, very pretty. And you can find all this stuff, by the way, in the trash. If you look around, these things are all free if you keep your eyes open for it. So happy gardening, and I hope you try a geranium. Thank you for watching.